your hosts, Roxanne Gallo and
Zachary Hines. Roxanne, I feel like this is the episode you are the most excited for.
I put on for my city, on for my city. This week's episode is about Tampa.
Yeah, so we are celebrating our home city, all of our favorite places, our favorite people, and everything that makes Tampa so great.
It's the best. I love my city. I love it. I love our city.
And let us know in the comments, what are your favorite places in Tampa? What places can you not wait to go back to once it's safe to all gather together again? Let us know. All right, get your cigar, get your guava pastry, get your cafe con leche, and your Cuban sandwich, and here we go.
I moved here when I was 7. I'm going to be 45 this year. I think that's long enough, man.
That counts. I mean, yeah. I've been here 13 years, and I'm a Tampanian. Is it Tampanian? Knows. Have we decided what it is?
I think it's tampon. I think it's legitimately tampon, but nobody wants to say it.
I say Tampano.
Tampano? You just make things up then.
No, it's real.
2 tampons and a Tampano.
I just passed 10 years doing comedy. I started in Tampa at Side Splitters Comedy Club. I started at their open mic, and this past December 26th was my 10-year anniversary. I love living in Tampa. It's great. It's when people think about entertainment, Tampa's not usually the top of their list. Like nobody goes, I'm going to move to Tampa and make it big in stand-up comedy. But as a place to start, if you're a young comic or somebody that's considering doing stand-up comedy, there were so many stages you could get up on between Side Splitters, the Improv. There's a couple clubs out in St. Pete, up in Palm Harbor. You have Snappers, and there's so many open mics. And the scene here is so loving and supportive. In Tampa, it's everybody just sort of learning and getting together and figuring it out. So as far as like being an emerging comic and somebody that wants to learn how to do stand-up comedy, this is an amazing place to start. I made the mistake of thinking I needed to move to New York to do stand-up comedy, and I moved to New York, and then I came home about 6 or 7 months later. And the greatest choice I ever made was not trying to start up there because I would have no idea what I'm doing. So that's why people that want to do stand-up comedy shouldn't move to a different city, but stay here in Tampa and start here. Rant.
What are your favorite
Okay. So Roxanne, you know this. I have been waiting for 2.5 years for the New World Brewery to reopen. I was driving by the New World Brewery, going in and checking it out, sticking my nose where it wasn't wanted, and asking the same questions that everybody was asking them. When are you going to open? How's it going? What's going down? I was definitely one of those people emailing Dean and texting Dean. And then we finally got opened, and I was lucky enough to start doing a little bit of work there again, and we started planning some events. Like we do the pencil fights there, and we do rock, paper, scissors tournaments and stand-up. So that's like my home. That's my home, period, is New World. I started working there when I was 21. I worked in the kitchen. So New World opens up. Yes, it's back. And they did a great job. And it's beautiful. And this is the event we're going to do here. And this is the event we're going to do there. And seeing all the old friends and everybody came back together. And then boom, Corona. So that's what I miss. I've been missing something for 3 years, Roxanne. And then I got it back and they took it away from me again.
So how did you get your start doing comedy? Did you take any classes or anything?
I did not. Well, okay. I took improv classes at the Patel Conservatory when I was a much younger man with hair that was not nearly as gorgeous. I mean, scalp up, I've aged very well. Scalp up. Scalp down, let's keep this camera panned down a bit. I got to a point where I'm like, I can't not do this anymore. Like I have to now do this or I'm just going to have to resign myself to having a miserable life. So finally, I got to that point where it was, this is it. This is the thing I have to do. And I spent 2 years going to open mics and getting up on stage and wanting to run out of the room and just being petrified and so scared to go up. But every time you just had to stay and do it, and then slowly over time, it got easier and I would drink less whiskey before I got on stage and I would get more comfortable on stage. And now it's my happy place. Now I love being on stage and performing. If I don't die on stage or eating ice cream, I did not die doing what I love.
If you were to explain Tampa to a complete stranger, how would you describe it?
Let's go with petulant teenager full of potential. Some days you're like, this is everything. I love this kid so much. He's going to change the world. And then other days he just farts in your car and you're like, why have you done this? You're so uncouth. Thank you for having me. I've been a big fan of this program. It's awesome to get to see new artists that I'm not familiar with. And I've been struggling, I think like a lot of us have been, managing my emotions and dealing with everything that's happening. And Roxanne was very generous weeks ago when this started and asked me to do something. And I told her I would, and then I couldn't get my stuff together to put something together. And she kindly understood, and then she reached back out after a few weeks. And that invitation and this platform has helped dig me out of a little bit of a funk, and it brought my family together. We went out as a unit and filmed over the weekend. So we got out, we got some sunshine, we got to drive around to some of our favorite places in Tampa. We got to go have a hot dog at Mel's Hot Dogs. I mean, it was a wonderful weekend for us as a family. So thank both of you for allowing me the platform and to helping remind me that my happy place is in helping to create.
Tampa, a city that likes drinking so much, we put the whole amusement park around the brewery. Hey, man, you want to drive an hour and a half up to Orlando to see Mickey Mouse? Nah, bro, just put an elephant in a roller coaster right over there. That'll be just fine. I mean, I can't imagine a better day than warm beer and the smell of giraffe. And it's that can drink, will drink attitude that makes me love Tampa so very much. I lived other places. I lived in Colorado. Mountains, hippies, yuck. Oh, but Steve, they have legal weed in Colorado. So what? You can get weed anywhere. I've been buying weed in Tampa for 30 years. I also lived in New York. And New York, without a question, it's an amazing city. Full of culture, beautiful architecture, people, most of whom want to move to Florida. So if you're thinking there's some really cool people up in New York and you just love to hang out with them, stay here. Save your money. They're on their way. Sometimes as Southerners, we're made to feel dumb, especially as Floridians, right? But look, there's dumb people everywhere. We don't have a monopoly on ding-dongs down here. I was up in New York talking to a friend of mine, another comic. I was telling him a story happened to a friend of mine. My friend was walking his dog through his apartment complex and an alligator came out, ate his dog. Terrible story. This dude looks at me and says, I don't get it, bro. Why would the apartment complex put alligators into the lakes? Bro, no, man. Nobody's putting alligators into lakes. We just live amongst dinosaurs. It's a stressful situation down here, bro. It's not an amenity. You don't get walked around the apartment complex like, oh, over here's the gym. It's 24 hours a day. All the schools in the neighborhood are A+, and also the lakes of Carroll would guarantee 2 alligators in every pond. We should be proud to be Tampa residents. Tampa has a rich tradition of innovation. We invented the lap dance. We invented the Cuban sandwich. We invented a parade for a pirate that doesn't exist just so that we could get drunk and pee on rich people's lawns. And for the most part, I love living in Tampa, but it's not perfect. Like that giant Confederate flag outside of town. Oh, man, that's a bummer. And I remember when they put it up, the dude was so proud. He said it's the biggest Confederate flag in the Southeast. Well, then I think it's safe to say it's the biggest one in the world. I don't think there's going to be a bigger Confederate flag in Japan. And people defend this flag. Hey, man, if this flag offends you, you've never read a history book. That flag offends me because I have read a history book. And they wear that with such pride when they should be ashamed of it. They slap it as a bumper sticker on their car. Wham! Heritage, not hate. No, it's a heritage of hate. And I don't understand this pride. If you go to Germany, going down the Autobahn, a VW is not going to zip on past you with a big bumper sticker on the back that says, the Third Reich was all right. But for the most part, Tampa's a great town. Which is why I was so confused when a few years ago a study came out that said the Tampa-St. Pete area is the most depressed area in the entire country. They say we're the saddest. Flint, Michigan is in this country. Their drinking water is literally poison. They're in a better mood than we are, and we have beaches. I was talking about this one night at a club in Tampa, and a guy in the front row said, "Where's Flint, Michigan?" Bro, it's in fucking Michigan. And that's why we're depressed, because people like you live amongst us. And look, I used to make fun of that guy. I used to have like another 5 minutes jokes about that guy. But the truth of the matter is now, I just miss him. And if that guy was here right now, oh, I would just hug him. I'd hold him tight. Human touch feels so good. I miss it all. I miss Tampa. I miss not being able to find a place to sit at Armature Works. I miss driving over the bridge to go to St. Pete to buy kombucha and crystals. I'm pretty sure that's all that they sell there. I miss waking up hungover on a Monday morning for the 1,000th time, swearing to myself I'll never drink liquor at the Hub again. But most of all, I miss you, Tampa.
I've been playing off and on for 20-some years. So it's a long time when I really think about it. Starting in Tampa, and then I've been able to go all over the country a little bit. but mostly here. I started seeing local bands and got to know the members of those bands that became friends. And I would talk to them about how I would kind of like to write, and they encouraged me to do it and then helped me along. So there were a lot of good people at the beginning that really helped me.
I mean, weren't you the one that got music started going at New World?
As I remember it, when New World opened, Oakboro was still going pretty strong right across the street. And I was good friends with Richard, the owner there. And we would play there quite often. Once New World opened, got to know Steve and Joe, his original partner, or Greg, I'm sorry. And hanging out there, Steve would have acoustic guys playing inside in the corner. And I would kind of just started nagging him. I said, why don't you let us put a show together out on the patio? He was pretty hesitant. He wasn't sure because didn't charge cover, and he was really reluctant to do that. So I asked him one night to the next gig we had coming up at Oakboro to come and just check the gig out. And he did. It went really well. And his eyes were just kind of spinning the whole time when he watched how much, money Richard was making with all the people that, were drinking heavily. So, I think that swayed him, and he kind of relented, and he let me put together a 3-band show. We charged $3 at the door.
Woo, those were the days.
Yeah, they were. I don't want to mention how long ago that was, because it was not in the new millennium, and Steve was very happy. And then those bands, not only those bands that played with us, but other people got wind of it, and then they started coming to Steve. Then it just became the giant, wonderful thing that New World was at the old location, and hopefully will be at the new one. I'd say Tampa is a surprisingly wonderful mixed bag of many good things. I think that a lot of people aren't aware of course, and don't give it credit for. A lot of excellent people here too. I want to say that, I've met some amazing people that I would really regret having not met had I lived somewhere else.
Hey everyone, this is Will Quinlan, and I want to thank Roxanne for asking me to be part of the Tampa Total Request Live series. And I'm going to do a song now for you called Being There. It's kind of one of those songs about regret. Things with your family when you were younger and you kind of wish you could go back and do it over. Or also about missing, longing for that time maybe when you were younger and things seemed better as well. So anyways, Being There.